Hi, I'm Rob, and welcome to L-Space Archives. Today we have part one of a massive book haul, plus some giveaways, because no matter how many spreadsheets and databases I make, I can't seem to stop myself from buying books that I already own. That means that you'll get a chance to win free books for each and every one of these book haul videos. So let's go to the desk and see what we've got. These first books are hardbacks and trade paperbacks that we got from various thrift stores before striking the mother lode at that last Goodwill. First, we have a Treasury of Great Science Fiction, a 2-volume set. There's some tears in the book jacket, but we'll get some mending tape on them and get them cleaned up. Put some Brodart sleeves and they'll be good as new. I first saw these over on Matt's channel at Science Fiction Reads. He was doing a tour of his library. I've been on the lookout for them, and then I rewatched his video recently and almost broke down and ordered them online. I'm glad I didn't, because the next day, there they were in the thrift store just waiting for me. I think with our coupons and discounts, I think I got them for probably about under $3 a piece. There are some great authors and great stories in these. Next is an author that I hear Chris at Liminal Spaces talking about all the time, but I've never seen anything by him out in the wild, and that is Haruki Murakami. Now, this isn't the one Chris talks about, Hard-Boiled Wonderland and the End of the World, which is the one I really want to find. But considering I've never seen any Murakami out and about, I wasn't going to pass it by. Next is a series that I've wanted for quite a while, and that's the Night Watch series. Unfortunately, this set is missing the first one in the series, the titular Night Watch, so I still need to find that one before I can start. But we've got Book 2, Day Watch, Book 3, Twilight Watch, Book 4, Last Watch, and New Watch. Okay, so I was really excited to find this next one. This is Ultimate World by Hugo Gernsback. Gernsback was the editor of the first pulp magazine completely dedicated to science fiction, Amazing Stories. And of course, the namesake for the Hugo Awards. The cover art is by Vincent DeFate. Next is The Secret Galactics by A.E. Van Vogt. This was later re-released as Earth Factor X. Reality twisted slightly. Earth shivered in a momentary absence of vibration. For a split second the solar system wasn't, and then was again. Less than a billionth of a second, but a time shift occurred for connected persons. And as the shadow ship started to emerge from the time jump, men and aliens were locked in a secret, undeclared war to rule Earth. The aliens genetically changed in the womb, looked exactly like humans. They were everywhere, in government, in business, in finance. Step by step, they pursued their master plan for takeover. Opposed to them were 2 women and 1 half-alive brain in a mechanical body. The battle seemed over before it began. Or was it? The cover art here is by Anne Lehman Chancellor, who went by Chance. Another one I'm really excited to find is Stanley G. Weinbaum's A Martian Odyssey and Other Science Fiction Tales. This collects all of Weinbaum's stories except for a couple that were co-written with other authors. A Martian Odyssey was his first published story, and Weinbaum looked like he was destined to be a shining star in sci-fi literature. Sadly, he passed away from lung cancer just 15 months after the publication of that first story. So this represents pretty much everything Weinbaum ever wrote. Next is a visual guide to Xanth, cover art by Daryl K. Sweet. And interior art by Todd Cameron Hamilton and James Klaus. And you know I'm a fan of this kind of artwork and illustrations. And this one is actually from my wife's collection, Remini Feist Fairy Tale. Sort of a fairy tale horror, I think. My wife shares my addiction to reading, book collecting, and sci-fi and fantasy. We each have our own niches within that we tend to gravitate towards. Um, Currently, we're remodeling a house, and every room is or will be a library unto itself, along with an abundance of various sci-fi, fantasy, and comic book memorabilia. It's as if two 10-year-olds with disposable income and no adult supervision decided to design a house. And this is The Singular Adventures of Baron Munchausen. Get this out of the way before I spill it. This is illustrated by Fritz Creedle. It has the sort of children's book style of illustrations that were prevalent in the mid 1900s. Um, and if I can find it here, somewhere past this lengthy introduction, we have a sworn affidavit that states that these adventures are in fact true. Of course, it is signed by Gulliver, Sinbad, and Aladdin. Okay, so now we move on to the mass market paperbacks. From here on out, all of these came from a single Goodwill. We're going to start off with some Frederik Pohl. This is Slave Ship. Cover art is by Robert Foster. As we all know, storage space is severely limited on spaceships, so unfortunately they weren't able to bring along any clothes. Next up, The Case Against Tomorrow. Cover art by no one who is willing to admit it. This is a collection of short stories by Frederik Pohl. By the way, almost all of these books came from the collection of Scott Marshall. His name is stamped in most of these. Well, Scott, wherever you are, I know that we will take good care of all your books. And here we have The Man Who Ate the World. And Turn Left at Thursday, another Robert Foster cover. Foster, famously known for his difficulty in drawing clothes. It looks like the publisher was trying to give her some modesty and cut out a skirt from a Sears Roebuck catalog and just stuck it on there. And this is book one of the Starchild trilogy by Pohl and Jack Williamson, The Reefs of Space. I actually already have this book in an earlier version, so if you'd like this copy, just let me know in the comments. And if there are multiple people, we will go ahead and enter you into a drawing for the Frederik Pohl. And here's book 3 of the Starchild trilogy, Rogue Star, cover art again by Jack Piers. So I have books 1 and 3, but I'm still missing book 2, which is titled Starchild. So I have every book in the Starchild series except Starchild, and every book in the Nightwatch series except Nightwatch. Next, we have a couple by H. Rider Haggard, The People of the Mists, one of his Lost Civilization stories. I know I have King Solomon's Mines and She. We'll see how this holds up to those. And let's see who did this wraparound cover art. Cover art by Dean Ellis. Also by Haggard. Aisha, The Return of She. This is in pretty rough shape. Cover art by Michael Herring. Looks like I forgot to take a couple of stickers off this one. And I have some Piers Anthony, Orn. The future existence of a wild and primitive planet depends on 3 exiles from Earth who may not survive its dangers long enough to save it. The Travelers. 3 humans and an extraordinary alien creature in a quest across a counter-Earth in turmoil. Next is Var the Stick. This looks like it needs some cleaning up. Looks like somebody had it in the back of the truck when they went off-roading. And Chthon. Chthon's crime was simple. He loved a mignonette. All worlds despised and feared this most mythical siren, but no creature could tell him why. In the brutally hot subterranean garnet caves of Chthon, to which he had been condemned, Chthon sought an answer, and when he could not find it, he determined to seek elsewhere. No man had ever escaped Chthon and lived, but the mignonette called. Chthon had to have his answer. So did Chthon. And the last Anthony is Macroscope. I feel like I saw someone doing a review of this not too long ago. It might have been Ira, but I'm not sure. But I'll have to give it a try. Next, I have a couple by John Christopher. Christopher's Tripod trilogy were the first real novels I ever read as a child, not counting scholastic type books. So I get his books whenever I find them, and I keep being surprised to find that there's new ones I've never heard of before, uh, like this one, The Jagged Edge. The story of a natural catastrophe that wipes out 10,000 years of human history overnight, and what happens to a man who searches this shattered world for his lost daughter. And finally, at least for this segment, John Christopher's No Blade of Grass. This is a fantastic novel. It began simply enough when an Asiatic virus destroyed the grass and grain supply of the entire world. A mass slaughter began as nations murdered their own citizens so that some might live. And then there came a time when every man lived for himself without laws or morals. It was then that there was no hope for civilization because there was no blade of grass. Great book, and I believe this is a first printing and artwork by Hector Garrido. But I already have this same copy. So we'll do a giveaway on that as well. If you're interested in John Christopher's No Blade of Grass, leave a comment to that effect. And by the way, on all these giveaways, if you win, no, you do not need to pay for shipping. We'll take care of that. And you don't need to live in the United States. As long as you live somewhere with a functioning postal system, we'll make sure it gets to you. So if you want No Blade of Grass, let me know. If you want Frederik Pohl's The Reefs of Space, let me know. And if you want to be entered into both drawings, then let me know that. You can enter for each and every one of these giveaways if you want. I'll be doing these giveaways on all these book haul segments. I think this one is getting split into 4 parts because it's a pretty big haul. But we'll be doing giveaways for each video. And then I'll do a video afterward, probably where we'll just draw names and announce the winners. And I told myself I was never going to say this, but if you're interested in these giveaway videos, you may want to do the whole subscribe and notifications thing so that you know when they're out. If not, that's perfectly okay. So that's going to wrap it up for part 1 of this haul. Part 2 should be out in a couple days. Hopefully I will see you then. And thank you for watching.